The speech that I am responding to is the attack on the World Trade Center was an inside job. My response to that claim is that the attack on the World Trade Center was a foreign attack, not an inside job. The speaker claims that the actual collapse of the building was an exact match to what a demolition of a building would be. However, the collapse of the building merely resembled that of a controlled explosion. The speaker talked about the pancake effect and said it was not possible because the floor plates would end up being stacked up and the core of the building would be left intact. And jet fuel also doesn't burn hot enough to melt steel. Also, the visual collapse, he claimed, looked like a controlled definition. According to a senior engineer with the American Institute of Steel Construction, which was published, his quote was published in an article in Popular Mechanics, is that steel loses about 50% of its strength at 1100 degrees Fahrenheit. And then again, jet fuel burns at 800 to 1500 degrees Fahrenheit, which understandably is not hot enough to melt steel, which is 2700 degrees. However, experts agree that for the towers to collapse, their steel frames did not actually need to melt. They just had to lose some of their structural integrity and their structural strength. And this required exposure to much less heat than needed to actually melt the steel. Also, the jet fuel was just an igniter of the fire, and it wasn't the only source. Basically, it ignited the other building materials, which provided a lot of kindling to further weaken the structure. And this is all from the official 9/11 report, and these are what the experts have agreed upon. A lot of the evidence comes from misquotes of experts. A lot of the conspiracy sites use these quotes and they take excerpts and misquote them. A demolition expert, John Romero, who's widely quoted by conspiracy theorists, he regrets that his comments to the Albuquerque Journal became fodder for conspiracy theorists. I was misquoted in saying that I thought it was an explosive that brought down the building. He tells Popular Mechanics. I only said that that is what it looked like. And to just kind of explain the pancake effect once again, and this is according to David Bass, a structural engineer and member of the American Society of Civil Engineers, a team that worked on the FEMA 9/11 Commission report. Once each tower began to collapse, the weight of the floors above collapsed in the collapse zone bore down with pulverizing force on the highest intact floor. Unable to absorb the massive energy, that floor would fail, transmitting the forces to the floors below, allowing the collapse to progress downward through the building in a chain reaction. Like all office buildings, the World Trade Center contained a huge volume of air. As they pancaked, all that air, along with the concrete and other debris pulverized by the force of the collapse, was ejected with enormous energy, causing dust and debris to shoot out, making it look as if it were a controlled explosion. Response in his second claim, the evidence of missing, he said that crucial evidence would have aided the investigation, and it seemed to have mysteriously disappeared after the events took place during the actual investigation. The evidence of missing evidence comes only from known conspiracy theorist websites. It's not in the report, it's not found anywhere else except on these noted and well documented that they're considered to be conspiracy theories. The evidence does not come from a reliable source. It is widely recognized as theory, conspiracy theory, which by definition is a theory that alleges a coordinated group is or was secretly working to commit illegal or wrongful actions, including hypothesis that contradicts what was, or is represented as the mainstream explanation for historical or current events. A phrase that is often used dismissively in an attempt to portray a person's or group's views as being untrue or outlandish. Basically, my counterclaim to that would be conspiracy theorists exploit the horrors of 9/11 to make a few dollars. And then his third claim is that any other military events, many events that were taking place at the time of the attack helped to cause catastrophic failure in our homeland security. Any other military events that were taking place during the 9/11 attacks are relevant. Basically what the speaker was trying to say is that had other military events not been going on, the NORAD would have been able to scramble fighter jets to intercept the planes. However, a decade before 9/11, NORAD has on record, only intercepted one civilian plane over North America ever, and it was golfer Payne Stewart's Learjet in October 1999. Even so, it took an F-16 an hour and 22 minutes to reach the stricken jet. Also, rules in effect back then prohibited supersonic flights on intercepts, so who knows how long it would have taken for an F-16 to reach any of the doomed planes. Any of the new rules for interception came into effect after 9/11. Also, before 9/11, different emergency agencies had little communication with each other. Even the police and firefighters at ground level didn't intercommunicate with each other. So, basically any military events going on felt irrelevant to any evidence. And yeah, again, September 11 was, or 9/11 was an attack, not